welcome back. So today I'm going to work on a little bit of outside spring cleaning. It has been super gorgeous here. It's going to be 65 is the high today, and the other days have been pretty warm as well. We're not out of the woods yet because we do have some snow on the forecast for next week. And I don't know how much it's going to be. I haven't looked, but it should melt pretty quickly. So my last frost date here is about the middle of May to the end of May, depending on how the year is going. But even though it's technically not spring yet, at least it's not spring when I'm making this video, I'm going to start some spring things outside. Around here, there's a list of things that I like to try to get done in the spring. The first thing is to kind of tidy up a little bit. If you live in an area where there's a decent amount of snow, you know that when all the snow melts for the year, there's always surprises underneath the snow. And you know, you put something somewhere, or it's too cold outside and you don't put it where it goes, or the snow comes before you were planning, so you didn't get everything cleaned up that you wanted to. There's lots of things that go on, but all the snow melts and then there's piles of things everywhere, trash and things that need to be put away. So I have a couple projects around here that I want to work on that. Another thing is to rake up dog poop. And that is a real problem here because imagine you have snow on the ground for 3 months, everything's frozen. You can't keep up with that during the winter, and we have 2 dogs. So that is just something that has to get done every spring. I'm certainly not going to make you watch me do that, but just know that it does have to get done. Another thing is to prune things. So that I have a rose bush, I have several hydrangeas that have to get pruned, but the big project for pruning is the raspberry patch. I have about 140 feet of raspberries, so that is quite the project to get all of that pruned, but it's time of year to get that done. And then also just general tidying up of the garden, raking up the leaves that I didn't get done before. That's my list. I'm certainly not going to get all of that done today. I'm at least going to get a start on it. So I hope this video is a motivation to you to get out and get some spring projects done. I'm in zone 4, so there's not a whole lot of zones that are colder than me. So you might be living in a zone that's warmer than me. You actually probably are living in a zone that's warmer than me. So if you haven't gotten outside yet and started working, I hope this is motivation to you to get out and start getting some spring projects done. So let's get started today. unfortunately, sugaring season is almost over here. I think it's got a little while longer. Trees are about to bud. So that's the sign that sugaring season is over. The sap starts getting gross and doesn't taste good. Normally we try to tap some of the maple trees that we have. We have a ton of maple trees here at the parsonage, but we try to do a few of them, and we did not get around to it this year, and it is too late to start now. But they make cute little decor for outside the sugar house, and I also use them to put my flowers in on the roadside stand. So the next thing I'm going to tackle is these raspberry bushes. We have 2 rows of 70 feet of raspberries, so we have 140 feet of raspberries, which is a lot. So these were here when we moved into the parsonage, and honestly they've probably been here for decades. And they're obviously very prolific. All berry bushes kind of are. They kind of self-seed themselves. I don't know about blueberries, but blackberries and raspberries are very prolific. Strawberries too. They just reseed themselves, and more plants come without your even trying. A lot of people dig them up if they don't want the big patches anymore and have to deal with it. So that to say, I don't know what variety of raspberries these are. The person that planted them probably didn't either, because that was probably a long time ago. So I started pruning these in late fall last season, and all I did was go through and clean up a little bit. It was at a point where the raspberries had frozen, so they were dead, but the foliage was still on, so I could tell what was totally dead. And I just went through and cleaned out. It's a good time of year to just clean out those dead branches, because with this many raspberries, I lose track sometimes of everything in the middle. And then during the thick of it, when it's all grown up and bushy, you can't tell what's dead and what's not, because there's too many of them. So it's a good time to kind of go through and get rid of some stuff. Now I'm gonna go through and prune everything and get it ready to produce this year. I would say that these raspberry bushes are an ever-bearing type of raspberry, which I get a crop twice a year. First crop comes around July 4th, and my second crop comes in September until the last frost, and then they'll die off. So if you notice this cane right here, it has these dried berries at the end, and this was a September crop. Now these canes last for 2 years, so I'm going to snip these off, and then on the rest of the cane, kind of in the middle part of it, that is going to start producing berries that's going to be ready in July. So if I mowed everything down, I would miss that first crop, which maybe in some areas isn't that big of a deal, but for me, it doesn't start, that second crop doesn't start until September, and then I do not get all the berries from that because the frost is gonna come kill them before they're done producing. This first crop that I'm gonna get in July that's going to grow right here, the berries are much smaller and they're not quite as sweet, but I get such a great production of them. There's so many of them. So then the canes that are gonna start growing right now, they will be ready in September, and that's what this is dead from September, and they're really huge and juicy, but I never get to get all of them because they die. The frost comes and gets them. So my goal this afternoon is to go through and clip all of these off. I still have some cleanup I need to do in here, some dead branches that I didn't get to and those kinds of things. But my goal for today is just gonna be the ends, because then I'll remember where I stopped and where I can pick up the next time. Normally I would use hand pruners, but do I know where my hand pruners are? Zero idea where my hand pruners are. That's me. That's why I don't buy expensive gardening tools, because I will lose them. They are probably somewhere out in the field or in the yard or somewhere that I left them, and they're probably all rusted up because they got left outside, but they were $8, so why does it matter? I pretty much buy myself a new pair of hand pruners and some really sharp pruner type things. I don't know if they're called pruners, but every year. And so it's just not worth it to me to get Fiskars that cost, you know, $50 because I'm gonna lose them. So today, because I can't find those pruners, today we're using my husband's something. I don't know what that is. I have no idea what he uses this for. But he found it outside. It had rusted, probably because I used it for something. Or put it down there and didn't put it inside or something. He oiled it up with some safe type of oil, he said, that I can touch and that the plant is fine for the plants. And that's what we're gonna use today. They're definitely not as comfortable as hand pruners because they're a little too big for me, but it'll work. So let's tackle this project this afternoon. Think that certain projects are going to take forever because they just seem monumental, but that only took me 15 minutes to cut all those. Now some of it is because I've done it for so many years. This is the 5th year I've cut back those raspberries, and so I used to kind of ponder like, oh, should I cut it here? Oh, should I cut it here? What do I do? But I don't have to think about it anymore. I just do it. And the fun thing about doing that is that when I was snipping them, on the inside of it is green. They are alive and ready to produce. It is coming, and boy, is this sun just glorious today. I'm still not done with those raspberries. I need to go through and get rid of some more dead branches that I found, and that's gonna take a little while, but generally speaking, I'm gonna consider them done. I don't fertilize my raspberries. You will find most people suggest that you do, but I've only heard that from people who have a small patch of them, you know, like 6 or 8 feet of them, not that much. And so I'm not sure if I should be fertilizing or not, but here I am not fertilizing it. So I have one more thing I want to show you today before I'm done with my projects. The greenhouse is up. And I am not going to give you all of the details of the greenhouse right now because I'm going to save that for its own separate video. So Originally, my husband was going to build me a from scratch greenhouse. And there's a couple reasons why we decided against that. Some of it was time was kind of creeping up. And then these ended up, it was the day before he was gonna start building. And he was just looking at some greenhouse things online, and he said, hey, what about this? And he showed me this 6x8 Harbor Freight greenhouse. So it's not like, you know, your top of the mill greenhouse, but it works. My original plan was to do a 12 foot by 8 foot greenhouse, and that was only 6x8. So he said, what if we just bought 2 of them? And they were on sale with coupons for $229 each. They were normally $398. So he ended up, let me see if I don't trip. He put 2 greenhouses together and made me one long greenhouse that's 6 feet by 16 feet, which I can't do math quick. I don't know if it's more or less than what I was originally gonna have, but it's pretty close either way. And so I have a few things in there. My cold plants are in there. They're not spending the night out here. It's an unheated greenhouse. That's kind of a next step thing. Like next year we'll worry about heating it. This year we're not going to. So I'm still bringing them inside to the house at night. But during the day they're coming out here. I have other things coming out here in that greenhouse with even all the doors opened and the windows opened. It's getting like 90 in there. It's incredible. The flowers are loving it. They have put on a lot of growth even just since putting it out here. So it's been great. So I'm looking forward to showing you the whole setup once we have it all completely done. And I'm gonna start planting in there. Probably in the next month or so, I'll start putting some things in there. So I'm looking forward to it. So thank you for coming along today with me on some of my spring projects and some of my cleanup. I hope it gave you some motivation to get outside, enjoy the sunshine, and start growing or creating something in your own gardens. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and please subscribe for more